women's rights and women's progress is under attack, overtly and subtly.
I'm Jasmine Lane. This is Over Opinionated, and I didn't know that it was actually possible for so much to go so wrong in a single day. Brace yourself and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Like the video and comment your thoughts down below. Your freedom of speech is still technically kind of legal here in Canada, and it's one that I certainly promote and encourage, so feel free to use that while you still can. I'm also pretty sure that Justin Trudeau not only lied through his teeth, that has become an everyday thing with him, but he also admitted that he is a part of the deep state. Now, I have a lot of thoughts about this one, but just for some context before we play it, it's in reference to the US voting in Donald Trump. Donald Trump, that guy that Justin Trudeau is supposed to be really buddying up with right now, because even though he denies that we're currently in a recession, we will absolutely be in much worse of a recession if Donald Trump imposes those tariffs. So it's really weird, doesn't really seem smart or mature, how Justin Trudeau has just been routinely mocking him, criticizing him, insulting him, and you, if you support him.
Now, it shouldn't be that way. It wasn't supposed to be that way. We were supposed to be on a steady, if difficult sometimes, march towards progress. And yet, just a few weeks ago, the United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president. Everywhere, women's rights and women's progress is under attack, overtly and subtly. But I want you to know that I am, and always will be, a proud feminist. You will always have an ally in me and in my government.
Just a heads up here. You don't have to be a woman for progress. You don't have to be elected because you're a woman. That doesn't mean that you're better. That just means that you're a woman. And I'm tired. Oh my word, I am so tired of this whole, oh, well, if only you had elected a woman. What does that have to do with literally anything? Do you want to know who I want to elect? A good leader. That's who. I don't care what's in between their legs. If they're good and they resonate, you got my vote, baby. Oh, well, you should have hired her because she's a woman. Are you stupid? What? What a stupid thing to say. First and foremost, the fact that he starts it off by saying, it wasn't supposed to be like this. What do you mean it wasn't supposed to be like this? The people who live in the country weren't supposed to vote for who they wanted to vote for. I am really restricting myself from cursing right now, my lord. But what a dumb thing to say. No, do you want to know why Kamala wasn't elected? Maybe because she was never even running in the first place. People didn't even vote her in to run. Maybe because she has 27 different accents in her back pocket. Maybe because she absolutely destroyed the country. And maybe because her entire campaign, which again, she was never actually voted in to run for in the first place. She was just put there. Was a campaign focused on doing the exact same things that have destroyed the country to begin with. Kind of very similar to Justin Trudeau, actually. So it makes some sense. It does. When he says it wasn't supposed to be like this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you and all of your crazy lizard people elites that run everything behind the sheets are very much not wanting a world where Pierre Poilievre and Donald Trump are running the West. I'm pretty sure, yeah, they actually didn't want Donald Trump to win. That was evidently clear after several attempts on his life, after several attempts to defame him and drag his name through the mud. And while I'm not about to start saying that what happened to Donald Trump was some massive government inside job, though could it be? Maybe. I don't know. I think one thing that we do know for sure is that there was such a huge attempt to destroy him and to make the country divided against each other over that particular candidate. And whether it was an inside job or not, you had people who loathe him. Over what? Because prior to him running, the world loved him. Why do you think that is? And we see the very same tactics playing out here in Canada as well. Look at the way Justin Trudeau talks. Look at how much he pities you. He resents you. You have Chrystia Freeland, Karina Gould, all of these other evil minion demon packs that just constantly condescend and pity you. And Justin Trudeau being a feminist, really.
I have never felt more scared in my life of someone to be in a room with someone. And I knew that
Have you ever heard of wounded narcissism?
Oh, no, I have not.
Rings a bell?
No.
Well, beware of it. Seriously.
I have said before, and I'll say again tonight, that I do not believe that Mr. Trudeau is a real feminist. A feminist doesn't continue to push strong women out of his party when they are just seeking to serve. And I will say their names tonight and thank them. Thank you, Jane Philpott. Thank you, Jody Wilson-Raybould. Thank you, Selena Cesar Chavez. And I'm here tonight thanks to the work that you have done. I believe that if there were more women on this platform tonight and in previous years, that we, in fact, would have better laws in our military. We would have childcare at this point. We would have many of the things that we need. I am the only woman other than Elizabeth May to be on this platform in the last 18 years. The Liberal Party has never had a woman lead it. I think it's time for the party to examine its priorities.
Ms. Hall, you'll perhaps understand that I won't take lessons on caucus management from you.
And I think what I will keep focused on is making sure that our...
I am going to get a little cruel here, and I apologize, and I'll probably regret it later because this isn't how I like to conduct myself. Having said that, though, there is such a stark difference between the women that Justin Trudeau is such a great feminist for versus the women that all of the people who he says are the problem, and really what kind of women those are. If you look at Justin Trudeau's party, you know, when he was first elected, he brought on 15 ministers. They were all women. Why? Because it's 2015. That's what he said. What a pathetic reason, truly. But they were 15 rather incompetent women, many of whom that were competent, he later bullied and railroaded out of their careers and tried his darndest to destroy them because they were smarter than him, they were better than him, and they told him no. Past history is usually a pretty great indicator of exactly what is to come. And we have seen that with so many people, not just women, men as well, who have spoken out about Justin Trudeau and how he really is behind the scenes. And I mean, truly, if you're actually a good person, you don't need to tell people that you're a good person because they know it. The truth sounds a little bit differently. You know, it has a nice ring to it. You don't question it. Justin Trudeau has to tell you what the truth is so that you don't question it because it's not obvious, because it's not true. And you take a look over at the conservative side with Pierre Poilievre. Look at the incredibly intelligent, articulate intellectuals of women that he has surrounding him, women that are so competent. They are so good at their jobs. They know how to deliver a message. They know how to research. And take a look at that. That is a man who, by all accounts, does not appear to be suffering from the same personality disorder or the same childhood trauma that Justin Trudeau is. That is a man who is completely okay with having women who are powerful and strong take the lead, and he trusts them. And he picks women who are strong and powerful because he knows that they're going to do a good job and that they are going to so beautifully complement each other in the party and in getting things done and in being realistic and common sense. Whereas Justin Trudeau, when you listen to the majority of the women on his side speak, whoa, I feel like he pulled them out of 8th grade. Honestly, the way that they talk, the way that they articulate themselves, like these are not fast intellectual women by any means. Sure, they may have a lot of schooling behind them. They may have a lot of rich parents. If you look into some of their Wikipedia pages, wow, they call Pierre Poilievre a career politician. Maybe they should point that finger back at themselves.
I can't help to think that the country is divided. And I'm going to say that we're divided because I think people would rather hurl insults instead of trying to understand anybody who doesn't hold the same view as you do. I think we're divided because leaders in our country and in countries around the world prioritize labels instead of prioritizing substance and action.
It is very easy for a narcissist and manipulator to fool people for a little while. But that mask slips, and that mask slips under pressure very, very quickly and easily. And that is something that we are absolutely seeing and have been seeing for years. The difference, though, is I think there's a lot of people who were once blinded by being compassionate and virtue signaling and, oh, wait, no, I support Justin Trudeau because if I don't support him, well, then that means that I support the conservatives who he has told me are funded by Russia, who are going to take away women's rights. What a stupid thing that is. So this video that I just played you starts going viral on social media today. And Gad Saad, who is an incredible man, an incredible intellectual, I've listened to him dozens of times over the years. He lives in Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. He posted this, and he also wrote, "There are no words, no sentiments, no nonverbal cues, no telepathic communications that can capture the extent to which this individual is grotesque." And Elon Musk responded to that. Elon Musk, who said he's such an insufferable tool, won't be in power for much longer. Gad then replied and wrote, "It is truly astounding, Elon. I warned people repeatedly about him, and yet they allowed their emotional processing to take over when choosing this degenerate idiot. Many are now writing to me privately saying that they made a mistake in supporting him. It always amazes me that people could be so easily duped." You know, it's interesting because earlier today I was on anti-duty, and so I actually wasn't on social media a whole lot as I had a nice little cutie patootie sleeping on me for most of the day. But I wrote this earlier this morning, and this was actually due to some of my experiences since I started posting my views on TikTok, which is a very scary place to be on as a conservative. But it's worth it. It's worth it because what the hell is going on in this world? And I really believe that this same thing that I had written over on X, just some of my observations, apply so beautifully to everything that we see going on right now as well. Here's one of my biggest takeaways since I began covering politics in Canada full time. Number one, the division is unlike anything I've ever seen. While Trudeau says it's the Conservatives that want division, I have never seen community members and strangers alike attacking each other, insulting each other, and assuming things about each other on race, privilege, income, vaccination status, class, employment, if they own or rent or are homeless, what side they support in protests, and political leaning. 2, for lack of better words, stupidity, willful ignorance, and egotistical highs due to virtue signaling are at an all-time high. Being ruled by a narcissist who consistently demeans, belittles, and misrepresents his own people and their struggles is clearly rubbing off on those who are desperate to be liked and feel virtuous even when they really don't know what they're talking about anymore. 3, people literally don't read anymore. They have no desire to think critically or discover their own opinion. All political leanings fall into this negligence and will vehemently defend and criticize when they have failed to read the documents and proof themselves, or worse, only read one side of a story that gives them confirmation bias and makes them feel like they know it all. I can't tell you how frequently it is that the same people who accuse me of being funded by Russia, misinformed, a bot, who will go to great lengths to try to destroy my mental health so that they can win in a discussion, will also repeat false data, false headlines, or say something that is completely irrelevant or has nothing to back it up other than emotion or virtue signaling bullshit. They will defend their comments like their life depends on it nonetheless, as though it's fact. Too long didn't read. Our government has failed us. It has put us against each other and used fear-mongering to intentionally divide our citizens because they themselves cannot admit failure or defeat. You become the company you keep. And it's clear that having a narcissistic sociopath who wants power, not peace and community, has rubbed off on all of us after so many years of their failed leadership. And as much as Justin Trudeau likes to point the finger in any direction other than his own, as though any of those people who he's pointing at have anything to do with the way that our country has been run under his leadership over the last nearly decade now. At the end of the day, throughout history, every single time there has ever been a revolution, an overthrow of the government, a rebel group, terrorism even, every single time one of those things happen, there is only one reason, and that is due to failed leadership. That is due to people whose needs are not being met. It's not due to hatred. It is due to struggling and suffering and people who are not heard. And the easiest thing that Justin Trudeau could do right now to win back the hearts of Canadians, if he actually cared about anybody other than himself, would really be to just listen and to say, hey, I screwed up and I hear you. And let's do something about this. You're right. But because he does not care about anything else other than his own ruling, whatever the WEF puppet masters are telling him to do, he won't do that. What he will do instead is divide and conquer. What he will do instead is put people into a situation where they cannot afford anything, so that they are forced to just accept whatever it is that he slaps down on them. What he will do instead is enact emergency powers so that he can freeze bank accounts, imprison people for peaceful protesting. He will lie and manipulate the facts of the situation to turn the public against them. And when those dissenting voices continue to get louder because he has not actually done anything to improve the quality of their life, but the opposite, he will then put into place things like Bill C-63. And of course, that in and of itself will be made upon complete lies for what its actual intended purposes are. It's not about the kids. We already have laws to protect them. But if you don't support Bill C-63, well then, you don't want to protect our kids. He can do his best to manipulate and convolute the truth so that it better serves him and weak minds who, although they claim to want to affirm everybody's identity and they want to be tolerant and accepting and welcoming to all, they will go to great lengths to disregard the very real concerns, the very real fears and struggles of their neighbors to create a victim and oppressor narrative. That is the Canada that Justin Trudeau has created. That's why everybody is so unhappy, because he has slowly but surely done everything in his power to absolutely divide us. Keep that in mind, because as I said in my post earlier today, this falls on both sides. There are radicals and wackos on all sides of it, and it's really important for you to acknowledge that and be aware of it so that you don't fall victim to that as well, because that's exactly what they want. They want more division. They live off of it. They breathe it, because more division equals more power. And it certainly does not take somebody expertly skilled in politics to know that when there is division like this, it's not because we have a really good leader. It's because we have a really bad leader who is failing us, who is failing many of us, the majority of us, but who has successfully twisted words and diverted blame away from himself and onto pretty much anybody else other than himself. And you need to be careful in how you conduct yourself as well, because I know it's hard. Holy moly, do I ever know how hard it is to talk with people who just don't see it the way that we do. But show them compassion when you can, pray for them, be kind, be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove, because that is the only way that we are going to win this and win people over and have them see the reality of what's going on here. I'm Jasmine Lane. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This is Over Opinionated. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Sorry this was a little bit of a longer one, and also sorry for posting so late in the day. As I said, anti-duty, family comes first. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment your thoughts down below.